It's just he has a valid reason.
Hey, Robin, can you hear us?
And
Yes, I can hear you guys. Thanks.
It's C came off mute, so I'm gonna assume you could, but for some reason we can't hear you. Let's see why.
The microphone is open here.
Thank you.
um.
Robin,
Can you
can you
hear
speak
me?
for us again? Yeah, now we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
Marion, Marion, I mean, no, not Marion, Marielle, sorry. She says, she's out.
Robin,
No,
can
she's
you
out.
hear me still?
Oh, and then Hector's gonna be on Zoom with childcare. Well,
Zoom folks, can you hear us? That's not good.
Hey,
Oh,
Anthony, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, you can hear us? Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, we're just testing the different mics. Thank you.
got it.
hold on.
Okay.
All right, people on Zoom, can you hear us okay? All right, thumbs up. Thank you. All right, Barbara, we're gonna get started. Luana, we're gonna get started. I want to make sure people on Zoom can only hear like one voice right now.
We hear you, Chair,
Barbara?
loud and clear.
All right, welcome everybody to January's general meeting. Thankfully, it is nice and warm in here, so I hope folks have been doing well since we've last met. I know probably the last time we gathered was at our holiday party. So it's really great to see more faces again. I see some new faces, so welcome to our CB12's general meeting if you haven't attended before. For folks on Zoom, we have a full e-board this month, so. Actually, sorry, not this month. We're finally kicking off the year with a full e-board, in terms of executive officers. So my name's Catherine Diaz. I'm the chair for CB12. I'm joined, well, actually, y'all have mics. I can introduce yourselves. Hold on. There we go. It should be good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Viola. I am the first vice chairperson of Community 412.
Remember everyone, those members, I'm the treasurer and chair of traffic and transportation.
Think further.
Alexis Marnell, secretary.
Joe Cochran, assistant secretary.
And Tanisha Grant, who's our second vice chair, is on Zoom tonight.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, perfect. All right, so we do have quorum, so it's 6:39. I'm gonna officially call the meeting to order. Since I do see some new faces, we're just gonna quickly go through how this meeting works. So this is our general meetings, and usually for all community boards, general meetings is really where we come down together to vote on our business. So this means that all of our committees met throughout the month of January. Tonight we have 4 committees that are presenting business for us to vote tonight. You can find all of that on our website, on our Airtable, and also linked within our Zoom if you're participating on Zoom. So it's not usually the robust dialogue in this meeting, right? If you came and you have questions that you want answers to, or you have issues you want to bring up, we can absolutely hear them, but we unfortunately can't respond to them. Where you can do that is at our committee meetings. So on our schedule, on our website, you'll be able to find the schedule for our upcoming committee meetings for February. Only board members, with that being said, only board members are able to speak. The one portion where non-board members are able to speak is during our public session. So you wanna, if you're on Zoom, you wanna sign up. You got about 15 more minutes to sign up for that. Again, any question, comment, concern, announcement that you want to share, that's during the public session. If you're in person and you got that, you got to sign up at the front. If you haven't, if you're not sure if you want to speak, I still say sign up, and you can always just say, I don't want to speak anymore. Everyone's limited to 2 minutes, right? We want to move through tonight, get out of this space before 9 p.m. We have to leave before 9 p.m. And we also don't engage in back and forths, as you can see on the screen. Last, for our folks who are on Zoom, please use Zoom to alert to us for any technical issues. So, you know, this is a hybrid meeting. While we love technology, sometimes it don't work perfect. So feel free to just, you know, comment in the chat if you can't hear us, or if the mics are cut off or anything of that nature. And you can also feel free to turn on captions on your end. And then same thing for folks in the room, just being mindful. We are also live streamed on YouTube. So, you know, you're being captured. And also, yeah, just being mindful in terms of the mics and sound and private conversations. So again, feel free to step out if you need to. All right. So already said, public session. All right, so we have, what I said, 3, 4, we have 8 resolutions tonight. For consideration, is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Isidro, and seconded by Jim. Are there any objections? All right, hearing none, we're gonna adopt January 2025 agenda. As far as the minutes, sorry, I didn't put it on here. For the adoption of December's minutes, I don't have them physically, but there were some minor grammatical, like super minor grammatical edits made by Liz Ritter, who will submit them when she arrives. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes for December? Isidro, second.
Second.
Luana, thank you. Any objections? Hearing none, we adopt our minutes. Thank you very much for Anthony's last minutes for 2024. Cool. I'm gonna just kick off with my chair report. I'm going to start on some solemn news that I think many of us are well aware of, and I hope some folks who are regulars in the community may or may not have heard. Over the holidays, Jay Mazer unfortunately passed away. He served on our board, I don't even know for how many years, probably like 10 plus, right? 12 plus. 20 or more, okay. See, I thought he had like 4 years when I came on, so 20 or more. I'm always super active on the community board. A lot of folks know him or knew him through his work in the district overall. And he served through 2024. And he was last on traffic and our health and environment committee for a really long time. So I'd like to take a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you, everyone. I know for board members, we sent it out. I sent like a personal note out. It's in your inbox if you haven't seen it. And then next week's community newsletter is going to share the news with the public. And there is a memorial that's being organized for February 15th. It's on the screen, so you can feel free to take a picture now. And that invite is also open for members of the community. So folks can keep that top of mind. And, you know, we're definitely in touch with folks who are organizing the memorial and being able to support in any way we can, in terms of any like goods or needs that they need to put it together. So thank you. Oh, this isn't working. Okay. So switching gears a bit to this morning, many of us, and it was so good to see so many people from Parks, nice and early, Parks and Cultural Affairs Committee, sorry, not just the Parks Department, at the Dykeman Rest, which is a corner of Dykeman and Nagel. If folks have walked by there over the last few months, it went from being like nothing to a playground, a dog run, a nature trail, like 15, probably, I think it was like 15 benches that I saw today. So today was this morning was the official ribbon cutting, and it was really great to see once again how many parks projects come to life. I think we tend to see that the most at the board, right? Like something being an idea of something as simple as a dog run or a water fountain, and being part of that planning, that part of that design, seeing those renderings, and then finally seeing it being used and go into that ribbon cutting. So I was super happy to see that so many members of the Parks Committee was able to go. Again, these invites, as much as I wish they happened more often, and as often as they will happen, we'll make sure that all of the board is invited, and if you can make it, absolutely make it to the next one. It was really great. And make use of the space. And then last and of course not least, and I know this is the news for members of our Housing and Human Services Committee. Obviously, we know this week a lot of people are on edge. The last 24 hours, we got members who are like at work still because of many of the executive orders that are coming down and the mass confusion that's happening. Housing and Human Services has been working with Congressmember Adriano Espaillat's office in a series of Facebook Lives around Know Your Rights. So this one's happening tomorrow. So feel free to take a picture. We're gonna send it again tomorrow morning, English and Spanish. Definitely, if folks want to know the latest, Housing and Human Services is a committee where, although it does intersect with many of our others like youth and education, even business development, Housing and Human Services, when it comes to immigration, tends to be the most hands-on. So if there are community organizations, if there are individuals who have questions, that's the committee that you do want to attend to. And we're absolutely asking folks to continue to leverage the community board. So if you do have announcements, if you do have a need for resources, if there are needs of support letters or any way that we can leverage our community newsletter to push news and happenings out, please do so. Okay, and that concludes my brief report. If there are any questions from board members, I'll pass it over to Ebenezer, our district manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Always it's a pleasure being here as your district manager and give my report. First, I want to give a welcome to the new elected official for Community Board 12 Manhattan, Sir Anthony, now our first vice chair. Welcome aboard. Tanisha, second vice chair, welcome on board. Alexis, secretary, welcome on board. Daryl, assistant secretary, welcome on board. And Leo, our new treasurer, welcome on board. I'm looking forward to work with you very close. Any question, more than happy to assist you and work with you. First, I want to give a report, just more for information than anything else, and also open a road or communication in case it's needed. Last January 20th, Connecticut reported to us that there was a gas outage from West 107th Street to West 178th Street between Fort Washington and St. Nicholas Avenue due to a fire on a manhole, in a manhole. Connecticut report on the 22nd, January 22nd, that all services has been restored. The heat, the hot water, and cooking gas. It was restored to all customers. Nevertheless, if any person, any customer in this catchment area is still having problem with the cooking gas, please let us know when we're gonna make sure that Connecticut knows that complaint. The second report that I have is the effect that the district is receiving from the implementation of the congestion pricing. As you know, congestion pricing was implemented early this month, and many people coming from New Jersey, they're using our street to park their vehicles and take the subway to go downtown. This just come to aggravate the situation with the parking that we have in the district. And some elected officials, they had approached us, the office, you know, what we're gonna do, or they have some plans they share with us. And there was a report in the news, in the Hispanic channel, that showing complete blocks, you know, with cars with New Jersey license plates. This is a very complex situation that we have, because the problem with the parking, it was very bad before the congestion pricing now is worse. 12 years ago, 13 years ago, this community board passed a resolution allowing the city of New York to clean the streets only 1 day a week. It used to be 2 days a week, and that aggravated the matter because now people park their vehicles, they only move it once a week. And in front of the office, before we had the Audubon Plaza, there was a truck that was parked for months. They didn't move it at all. They didn't even care that it was the day to clean. They preferred to get the parking violation and pay if they're gonna pay. So we have the discussion. I spoke with Leo to discuss this at the next Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting. During the District Service Cabinet meeting, I mentioned the idea to return the 2 days cleaning to alleviate this problem, and also to fulfill the turnover of parking, because really the cleaning is not just to clean, is to turn over parking to avoid what is happening, people parking the vehicles for a long period of time and not allowing people to use the curb to park. The office of Senator Jackson, they said to us that they are working in a resident permit bill, and they want to work. The office of Assembly Member de Los Santos said that if we have any complaints, to please to report to them. So we're willing to work with anyone who has an idea to see how can we alleviate this situation with the parking and the cleaning. And finally, I want to report very happy that last week I went to the New York Public Library inaugural ribbon-cutting ceremony of the Fort Washington Library, located 179th Street. We have the pleasure to be there and be part of the ceremony to the reopening of this beautiful library. I encourage you to go and visit. They have beautiful rooms, beautiful view, a lot of lights coming to the room where you can read. And the most important, they have room for meetings. And guess what? I request, you know, already to have meetings there. Maybe we can have, Mary, your meeting there one day in the morning, and perhaps one day we can coordinate with the library to have this meeting there as well. This is the end of my report. Is there any question? I don't see any question. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thanks, Ebenezer. I should also say, Luana and I served on the committee because something I didn't know that I learned being on the board is that when libraries have special, like, I forgot the name of the agency, but essentially, we were part of a committee to be able to select public art for the public library, and that was a really dope experience. They want to make sure that not just the aesthetics, if you will, but that the art and a lot of the items and materials are responsive to the district and to folks who use the library. So I thought that was a really cool experience. I hope you enjoy the artwork in the children's reading room at the Fort Washington Library. All right, I'm gonna pass it now to Anthony, who is going to start with our public session. No, sorry, wow, I'm off today. Excuse me. We're going with our elected officials reports. That's what he's doing. And then we'll get into the public session. So still you got 5 minutes if you do want to sign up to speak.
First up, from our elected officials is Assembly Member Manny De Los Santos.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Good evening. First of all, thank you, Chairwoman Catherine, for your hard work and the rest of the chair. And I understand how difficult and how overwhelming this work can be. Having served in community board for years, I truly understand. So I applaud your commitment to our community. I'm currently in Albany. We're currently working on the budget, the state budget, and trying to put a budget that reflects the best interests of our community or our city and state. Tomorrow there's a public hearing on education. So I'm here also, still in Albany, because tomorrow that hearing, it is important in terms of foundation aid, making sure that everything that needs to be included on the education budget gets included. So be there. For those who are interested on getting the link information, please contact my office on 212-544-2278, 212-544-2278, 9:30 in the morning tomorrow, State Education Building. I should also mention that we helped the congressman along with elected official and not-for-profit organizations last week on Monday. We helped a Know Your Rights press conference. Given the what's currently happened in our community, where federal agent ICE sort of basically everywhere. I believe today they were 158th Street, and we want to make sure that people are safe and that they know their rights. And for information, if they should seek information, they should not only contact my office, but they should also contact New York Immigration Coalition at 212-627-2227. They should also get in contact with Legal Aid Society at 212-577-3300, and New York State Office of New Immigrants hotline 1-800-566-7636. Again, those are important contact information. If you need more information regarding Know Your Rights, please join Congressman Espaillat and the rest of elected officials tomorrow for a virtual meeting on Know Your Rights from 5 to 7. If you need the link to that virtual meeting, please contact my office at the number that I provided. I have also introduced legislation this session that includes the safety of the mopeds and motorcycle. Those battery that you find, the leak down battery that you oftentimes have caused fire in our district. I have successfully introduced and passed legislation last week that would allow the changes of those battery so that we can prevent those fires that had occurred not only in the district, but throughout the city of New York. I've also introduced legislation to expand land access, new legislation that I've introduced to in the assembly, sick pay leave for pet care. I understand a lot of my constituent and neighbors may own a pet and may need additional time to take care of it. So that legislation have been introduced. So other piece of legislation for additional information, don't want to take a lot of the time going through every legislation I have introduced, but it's about this legislative session, about 8 of them. But please reach out to my legislative person or chief of staff, Diana Pichardo, for additional information on those legislation. Upcoming events that are celebrated in the district is Dominican Heritage Breakfast on the 22nd of February from 10 to 12 p.m. in Mofongo House 207. Also, Black History Month on the 22nd from 2 to 5 in St. Stephen Church, right in Marble Hill. At this point, this is my report. Oh, in addition to that, we did 2 ribbon cutting, the Fort Washington Library, which is the library where I attended when I had hair back then growing up. And 37 Hillside, we did another ribbon cutting for 100% affordable housing for senior housing. We have also done 3 housing clinic for 3 consecutive weekends. We're looking to add a few more, but my office have already done through Housing Connect nearly 2,000 housing applications that include those 3 weekends that were concluded this past Saturday on the 25th. Thank you again for all your service or everything you do. If you need additional information or have any question, concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to my office, or for those that know me personally or that have access to my cell phone, you can always text me. Thank you.
How much, Assembly Member? So we will move on to the representatives of other elected officials. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if somebody might can hear me.
I can repeat it for you.
Okay, so I want to know what the Assemblyman stands on your Presbyterian's decision to downsize the rehab unit.
Okay, Assembly Member, if you didn't hear that, we have a member of the board who asked what your stance is on New York Presbyterian Hospital's decision to downsize the rehabilitation unit.
Correct. Thank you for the question. I've had sent my chief of staff last time to speak on my behalf. I am not in support to cut down funding and to reduce the psychiatric bed. I think it should stick to original plan. I understand that the urgent need that it has, and I had offered my time and effort to make sure that's happened. I also have communicated that to Columbia University, that I'm with the Community Board 12, and I supported the resolution as well that was also passed in this committee, in this Community Board 12.
Thank you so much for that answer. Now move on to the representatives of the other elected officials, starting with Paula Leon from Councilmember Shauna Brady's office.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and as well as you can during these crazy times. I do want to reiterate that 3K applications are now open to apply today through the February 28th. I'll drop the link in the chat for people to access to be able to reapply. Additionally, our team alongside Espaillat's office, De Los Santos office, and De La Rosa's office are all taking part in the housing clinic for this Saturday and the 8th. You do need to schedule your appointment ahead of time. And this is just a really good opportunity for those that aren't able to make it to our office during the week that need help setting up their housing portal. So I'll make sure to drop the poster for that in the chat as well. Our Lower East Side Ecology Center is available to come to buildings to give workshops and informational sessions about composting. So say if your building is still missing a composting bin, or you feel like other people aren't participating as much and you think this would be something that your building would be interested in knowing more about, please reach out to us. I'll drop my email and all my information again in the chat. and we could bring someone to your building and do a little workshop for everyone there, so all the residents can start to know and understand how it works. We have a free mammogram bus that is coming to the district. It's going to be outside the district office, happening February 18th. However, you do need to make sure you set up an appointment ahead of time. I'll drop the phone number in there. I'll drop all these phone numbers and all this information in the chat. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. So if you have anyone in your life that needs to get a mammogram, this is such a great opportunity to be able to do it, whether you have insurance or not. And then lastly, we will be part of the call tomorrow. All of our team will be joining the call from that Espaillat's office is leading Know Your Rights, but we are also setting up one with our office as well. So an additional time will most likely be happening February 10th, but we will we're in the process of finalizing that date. So if you can't make it tomorrow, luckily there'll be another option for you to attend, get more information. Our office has lots of resources available, so please don't hesitate to ask. We are here to support you, and we are here to support the community. Stay strong.
Thank you, Paula. We do have a question, two questions in the room. I'm gonna just repeat them back to you, so just give us one moment.
Same question. What is their stance or Shauna Briggs' stance on your Presbyterian decision to downsize the implementation?
So Paula, if you didn't hear that, the member's question was similar to the one we posed for the assembly member. What is Councilmember Shauna Briggs' position on the downsizing of the rehabilitation unit at New York Presbyterian?
I believe Sean has met with the folks that are organizing because he does think it is a loss to the community. But if you are not one of the people that has spoken with him, I'd be more than happy to receive your email, or if you want to email me and we can get in contact to talk about it.
Thank you. One more question in the room and then I'll turn to Tanisha.
Yeah, can your office help resident receive more compost container from the Department of Sanitation? Right now, the sanitation department only gives one bin per building. And in order to encourage more people to compost, we need more bins because one per building and I think is nothing. So can the Department of Sanitation have, get like extra bins just for our district? Could your office help out in that? That's really important.
Paula, did you?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That's actually a really good point. And that's something that we have been talking with, as we had a few people reach out with similar concerns, saying that because there's a little bit of a mix. Some people have that they don't even have a bin yet, and other folks are saying we need more bins. So I do believe we're trying to set up something that we can even give people in kitchen, the ones that are inside the homes, composting bins, so that people have a way to store it. But I'd love to, if you can email me your specific building, just so that we can help facilitate that process for you guys.
Yeah, we can swap.
Okay, great. We ready?
Yeah, Tanisha.
Yeah, sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Tanisha, you can ask your question. Thank you.
So this is a question for all elected officials. I'm getting many phone calls and texts about, the federal thing that Trump is doing. We're trying to freeze federal aid such as Section 8, federal aid such as SNAP, federal aid such as Medicare, a lot of programs that our constituents depend on. Do you have thoughts on that? Are we having a town hall? Or are we going to inform the people? Or are we coming up with a plan? We know that a federal judge has blocked it, but what's the plan for the future? And where's the town hall or information session on that? Because that affects a lot of us. So I would like to hear from you, Paula, and then Assemblyman De Los Santos and any other elected officials can just put it in with their report. Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, we're super angry. Like we are so aware of how much like
That's valid.
we've received a lot of emails, a lot of people coming in. Some of our staff is being directly affected, obviously, by this as well. So like we're feeling it very firsthand. We're gonna do everything in our power, whether that means like joining other elected officials to, you know, sue and like stop this process. But we obviously are like very against them doing this. It's like affecting everybody. It's affecting all of our constituents, and we're very outraged, I will say.
Thank you. Oh, Manny, you responding? Your audio goes in and out. Hey, you want to try again? No, we can't hear you. It's loading. Oh, no. Okay. All right. I know it's gonna keep coming up because we also do have Lori from Adriano's office is gonna be speaking, so I know I'm sure she's antsy to touch on this too. What if it's okay with you, Manny, we'll move on to Noah, who's waiting as well, and then if anything, we can catch you later on after your technical, okay? Still can't hear you, sorry. Come on up, Noah. Oh, sorry, and this is Noah from Public Advocate Jomani Williams' office.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I hope you are all having a great 2025 so far. So I just have a couple of legislative updates to share. So last Wednesday, the Public Advocate unveiled his annual Worst Landlords watch list, which spotlights and shames the worst landlords in the city as determined by widespread and repeated violations in their buildings. So these violations, as compiled and categorized by the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, or HPD for short, includes issues such as heat and hot water outages, rodent infestation issues, and collapsing infrastructure. And at this time of year, as we all can imagine, heat and hot water outages account for the majority of the violations that are issued, which threatens the safety of New Yorkers, needless to say, who face the extreme cold as we all do. So I'll just mention the number one worst landlord in the city for 2024 was Mr. Barry Singer, who topped the list with an average of 1,804 open HPD violations across his building portfolio for the period ending in November of 2024. So if the public is interested in viewing the full list of the 100 worst landlords as well as the worst buildings in each borough, you can visit our office's website, landlordwatchlist.com. It has all of that data there. Also, just to expand a little bit further, so issues with conditions broadly as well as with heat specifically are not only specific to privately owned buildings. The New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA for short, has demonstrated an inability to improve the conditions in their buildings. And as of last Tuesday afternoon, there were unplanned interruptions of heat or hot water at 4 different developments across the city, which covered over 6,600 residents. And in December of 2024, there were about 611,000 open work orders, which was an increase of over 35,000 work orders from the previous year. And just to say, perpetual mismanagement of NYCHA and inability to keep the heat on for NYCHA residents makes the city itself the worst overall landlord for hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers. So yeah, that's the first update. And then the second update I wanted to share is, excuse me, earlier today, the Public Advocate called on the New York State Legislature to pass a bill aimed at ending worker exploitation and sub-minimum wages based on age or disability. At a city council hearing of the Committee on Civil Service and Labor yesterday, he urged the council to adopt his resolution in support of the state bill and highlighted the abuses permitted through loopholes in current state law. So the Public Advocate's resolution calls for the passage of State Senate Bill S28, slash Assembly Bill A1006, which addresses longstanding issues established under the Fair Labor Standards Act. Just really quick, originally intended to prevent hiring discrimination against workers with disabilities. By permitting a sub-minimum wage, the law has been used to perpetuate unsustainable wages and abuses by some companies against their workforce. I have a little bit more to say, but I know time's up, so. Just to answer Ms. Grant's question regarding the blockage of different federal aid programs and other federal programs, Public Advocate obviously does not support that. I am not aware of what our office is trying to do at this current moment to combat it, but I'm sure we're going to do something, and I can share more information on that during next month's community board meeting. Yes.
What is, money stands on using to downsize rehabilitation?
So that's a great question. I've made our office aware of this big issue that's been affecting the community, because I know it's been brought up in multiple community board meetings in past months. I don't know if he's issued a statement or if he has a specific stance on it, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm almost certain that he does not support it.
Assembly member, you wanna try to respond?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Tanisha. This is a great question. We actually have been working very closely with the speaker, Carl Hasty, on that matter. We understand the challenges that we're facing with this new administration, and every member that you can possibly, or that we can possibly imagine throughout, all 5 boroughs that are most likely to be affected by this administration has voiced their opinion to the speaker. We're also talking to the governor's team to ensure that everything that in terms of programs that can get funded on the budget gets funded. That, of course, we're talking about services that we typically fund on the state budget. We want to make sure that those not-for-profit organizations, that those institutions receive the funding that they had been receiving for years. And that's exactly what we're doing. And I'm still here because of that, because we know that we cannot take anything for granted. Education is key. And tomorrow we have an education hearing. I'm part of the education committee, but being part of the education committee is not enough if you don't show up. And my job is to show up to ensure that foundation aid is not a risk, because I know there has been some conversation about that, and I want to make sure that our kids are put first. But thank you for your concerns. I will personally continue to monitor that conversations, and the speaker, I can speak on his behalf. We're all concerned. We're going through very difficult, challenging times, but all I can ask you, and as a collective, Board 12, we need to have each other's back to stay connected together. As brothers and sisters, we have to make sure that we are working together, because when we work together, we all win, right? And we have to stay active in communication. But again, as I repeated before, I now have been assigned to a new location in Albany. So for those that are looking to come to Albany, I'm in 454 now in the LOB. And if you need any additional resources or have information that you want to share, or perhaps requesting information, please reach out to my office at 212-544-2278. And you can also, any given time, can feel free to reach out to me directly.
We will now move on to the representatives of elected officials in the room, starting with Janila Sandoval. From Councilwoman Conde's office.
Hi. Happy New Year. Or should I say happy 115th day of January? It's been a very long month. Many things have already been shared, like upcoming events that we're doing with the congressman's office and also the assembly member's office. I won't repeat it. the council member is the co-vice chair of the Progressive Caucus. And this week we held a media roundtable with members of the Spanish press to discuss how we can frame public safety moving forward and what the incoming Trump administration means to the media landscape in New York City. We know that there's a lot of like he likes to say, fake news that gets shared. And we want to make sure that the Spanish media is sharing information with our community, especially our Spanish-speaking community, correctly. Just reminders, capital and discretionary funding applications are officially open, and that deadline is February 19th. On January 30th, which is this Thursday, we're gonna be having a budget forum in person at Alianza from 6 to 8. To get, you'll have a presentation on how to apply and also ask any questions. Like I said, there's they already shared about the pre-K application. They shared about the Fort Washington Library reopening, and also the lack of heat and hot water that was happening in the Heights that Connecticut was able to take care of. On January 20th, for Martin Luther King Day, we were able to partner with Rocky Mountain Baptist Church to host our MLK event, and we got to honor 3 community board members. We got to honor Wayne Benjamin, Miriam James, and Tanisha, and Miss Queen on Zoom. We were also able to go to the Dyckman Rest today. We were able to give the speaker Adams a tour of the Eliza building. We were also able to attend the ribbon cutting at 37 Hillside Avenue, just sharing a lot of exciting news. I know there's a lot of questions and a little bit of nervousness and scary times right now with the ICE information and all the immigration orders that are coming in. We are discussing internally how to talk to our community organizations about how to share information with our schools, because we're getting a lot of principals calling saying that our parents are worried. So we want to make sure that we're filtering information correctly and accurate information. And then in February, we're going to be having our public safety town hall. The date is finalized on the location, and then we'll send it out to community board and also in our email blast. It's going to be February 19th at 6 p.m. at Inwood Academy for Leadership Middle School, which is on 204th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue. That's going to be targeting all things public safety. And then on February 21st, in collaboration with the Assembly Member's Office and the Congress member, we're going to be having a taxi and limousine mobile office. That's February 21st at 10 a.m. at 366 School, which is 202 Sherman Avenue. I'll be sharing my contact information on Zoom, as I always do, obviously with the office information. And then to answer Tanisha's question first, it is very scary to times that we're living in. We all say that. It's okay. And our office, since we deal with a lot of cases that apply to food stamps, that apply to affordable housing, that lean on public services, it's very nerve-wracking for us because we don't know how that's going to trickle down. So we are in conversations, and once we have some type of game plan, we'll definitely share it. And then to Jermina's question, because I know you're gonna ask me. The council member stood with Nice Now when they did a rally and strikes, and always stood with them every time she was able to share the fact that she does not support the closing. And then Liz has a question.
Yeah, can you just, do you have any good news to share with us about possible funding for Gorman Park, which is?
Yeah, Amelia Gordman, one of my favorites. That was a little bit of sarcasm. I do love the park, but it is a very expensive project. I'm not gonna put Steve on the spot, but Steve knows, he's hiding his face. It's a very expensive project. We are in conversations with the Parks Department. They came to us with a plan to have at least a partial opening of it, since we already have the Broadway, Walsworth Terrace side open. We're trying to see how we can do the Broadway side without obviously the middle part, which is the most dangerous. So they came to us. Now we're waiting for them to come back to us with obviously a budget ask, because there's always money involved. And also a plan for hopefully summer, fall time. So it's in the works. We're fighting. We know it's important.
Any other questions? We only take
Yes.
questions from board members for
Oh,
this
my bad.
part. I do apologize.
But you can find it.
But you know
But
me.
you can find Jamila.
I know Al. We could talk. All right.
Okay, next up is Lori Tobias Cohen from Congressman Adriano Espaillat's office.
What's the date of the public safety town hall?
The 19th.
Wednesday.
Of February?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
They'll be sent to home.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My colleague stole my thunder. I was looking forward to coming and talking about Know Your Rights and talking about remarkable housing forums, housing clinics, bringing together almost all of our elected officials from the 13th Congressional District. So if you know of anyone who is trying to relocate, who is frustrated with the process, it's worth their time to come and join us. And all they need to do is call either the congressman's office or the councilwoman's or the assembly members, and they can make a reservation. I also want to share with you another remarkable event that you might want to make a reservation for. And this is the 7th annual Dominicans on the Hill. This is a program, obviously in DC, on the Hill, which highlights the accomplishments of the Dominican diaspora in the United States, in the arts, in academia, in business, and so on, in entertainment. And needless to say, because we're on the 7th one, that kind of shows that this has been a very, very successful initiative. Again, please do call us at the Congressman's office. I also wanted to share with you that one of the features of the staff that we have, that I think is somewhat unique because of our access to federal institutions, embassies, etc. We have 2 dedicated immigration specialists. And we know from the first go around with Trump and the administration that this will be a time of great anxiety for people whose status may still be in transition to some extent. And please encourage them to get in touch with us to make an appointment in the Harlem office. Luis Miguel Adames and Maritza Sanchez. Feel free to call either office, Washington Heights or Harlem, for further information, and feel free to refer people because this is clearly a precious resource that we want to make available as much as possible. And since they stole my thunder, I guess I'm basically done. Any questions?
The question that Tanisha raised about if there's gonna be any events around the executive order, and then you mean Matt raised a question around the rehabilitation center, if the member has a stance on it.
Executive order.
Around federal funding for SNAP, and if there's any actions.
That's, of course, a critically important question for an enormous percentage of our district. And right now, our office is parsing the communications that are coming out of the executive branch. And so we have statements that are going to be issued through social media and so on. If you haven't already, please do sign up to receive communications from the Congressman's office. And this will hopefully help you stay abreast of some of the confusion and difficulties as we try to parse through and understand what is affected and what isn't. Okay. In terms of the issue of the rehabilitation of the rehab unit at Columbia Presbyterian, I've not really recently had a chance to discuss this with the congressman, but certainly when we had the first meeting about this several months ago, he certainly was not in support of our losing that resource from this community.
We have one more question from a member of the board. Yes.
When we're working on the annual event of Dominicans on the Hill, what is the criteria or expertise that the congressman selects on a basis?
That is a great question, and I will be happy to put you in touch with the DC staffers that create this program. That's not something that I can respond to, but I'll give you my business card. You're, happy to have you reach out to me about that. Excellent.
Okay, and I believe last before the Manhattan Borough President's report is Edgar Durares from Senator Robert Jackson's office.
Good evening, everyone. So, we're back in session in New York State. Fun stuff first, right? Tomorrow there will be an award presentation from the senator granted to members and local organizations who have either impacted the community in such a positive way or have helped us work with members of the community who needed service. And this will be at the Fort Washington Collegiate Church at 181st and Fort Washington, presenting New York State Empire Awards. Some of these members we know they may be somewhat well known in the neighborhood. Some are more in the background doing a lot of the grunt and dirty work, helping our constituents. And of course, we all know the senator will also be part of the Know Your Rights Clinic tomorrow evening with the congressman. We also have discretionary grants and capital grants as well. We also, the senator this past week has also unleashed a number of over 50 bills, much having to do with education, support for students, safety, traffic safety around our schools. There's also a bill that he introduced that has to do with parking that would allow authorization for agencies in New York City to combat parking issues due to the impact of congestion pricing. And of course, if people have ideas or suggestions, we're always open with open ears. You can call us at 212-544-0173, and that'll be it. And the two questions, right? Of course, we're talking about Senator Jackson. Anything that the people need, the senator is always going to be for. You already know that. So many of the people that we help, especially when we're talking about seniors who live on fixed incomes, can, if it weren't for that kind of support, they would be at the end of their lifeline, of their support line. So we have nothing but concern with what's going on. And of course, the anxiety that people are experiencing right now. And similar to the question regarding the psychiatric beds, pardon me. Rehab beds, yeah. Yeah, that's right. And we are not in support of downsizing of any kind of service. And the senator has also joined the workers in strikes and rallies and whatnot, and has also expressed his support for the necessities of the people of the community and the workers. So, yeah.
You have a question from a member of the board?
Sure.
Yeah, what I'd like to know, and actually, it's a question which is relevant to the assembly member and all the other elected officials. To those of you who say that you're opposed to the downsizing of the rehab unit, and the proposal right now is to reduce from 16 beds to only 5 beds.
Right.
Have you communicated your opposition to that proposal
Yes.
to the state health department?
I cannot answer that at the moment, but if you take my information, we could definitely have that conversation.
What counts is if you let the state health commissioner know
Right.
that you are opposed to this plan by the hospital.
Right. I don't want to speak out of turn, so I definitely want to answer your question. So if we can have this conversation for sure.
So folks on Zoom, if you didn't hear Steve Simon's question, it was whether the elected
Okay.
officials who stated that they're in opposition to the downsizing of the rehab unit have expressed so to the State Department of Health. If there are any elected officials or representatives that can answer that now, feel free to answer yes or no.
Thank you, Steve. I mentioned before, I'm a social worker at heart, so I'm totally against the downgrade, but I don't record, but I'm all in. If it takes for me to write a letter to the health department, I'm all for it. So let's engage so that we can follow up on that proposed letter. But absolutely, all it takes, as long as it will remain, as we agree to it. So but by all means necessary, and this is a collective work that I'm all in, as long as it makes sense. And we know that by taking this course of actions, it will secure or will advance or prevent the closure of the center, absolutely, or the rehab.
Thank you. Next up is Porfirio Figueroa from the Manhattan Borough President's Office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Porfirio Figueroa. I'm the Deputy Director for Community Affairs at the Manhattan Borough President's Office, Mark Levine. It's good to be back. I want to acknowledge losing Jay Mazur. Great loss for this particular community board. The 2025 community board application cycle is now once again open. Our portal is available to receive applications. If you need to reapply, or if you are a community member that wants to have your voice heard, please do. Our CAP funding portal for funding is currently open with a hard deadline of February 20th. All non-for-profit organizations and schools seeking capital funding for projects must complete the New York capital funding application through the NYC GAP grants portal. All cultural organizations that receive funding from DCLA are interested in requesting funding from the Manhattan Borough President's Office must also complete the application through the DCLA process. Mark Levine released a roadmap to universal childcare called Closing the 0 to 2 Gap, because New York City families with children under the age of 5 are facing a great childcare affordability crisis, which has priced them out of our city and is causing a serious economic implications to our communities and our social fabric. Despite strides with pre-K and 3K for all, only 24% of children under 5 currently benefit from public childcare, leaving struggling families with reduced workforce participation and huge economic strains. So the Manhattan Borough President called for a major expansion of free childcare in New York City and has proposed an expansion of pre-K and 3K to kids 6 weeks old through 2, closing the 0 to 2 cap, the NYC newborn support program to provide $1,000 for the first month, then $500 each month for 12 months for all newborn qualifying families at the 200% of federal poverty line. Last, a look at reforms needed for providers and families to get paid on time for the services that they provide. That can be found on our website, which is www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Upcoming events, we are hosting a property valuation event in conjunction with the Department of Finance at 1 Center Street, mezzanine level, on Tuesday, February the 4th, from 5 to 8 p.m. This event is for single-family homeowners, as well as whole cooperatives and condo owners. Our Black History Month event is scheduled for Tuesday, February 18th at 6 p.m. at the Victoria Theaters at the Apollo. Seating is limited, so please go to events at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Last, the Manhattan State of the Borough is scheduled for Sunday, March 23rd at 2 p.m. at LaGuardia High School. So please RSVP to events at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. To answer the questions that have been raised here this evening. I think it's clear that, especially as former chair of the Health Committee in New York City, Mark Levine has very, very, very loudly been an advocate to not only increase, but to keep all health services, especially in Manhattan. You can actually find his comments on www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov and what his stances are. And that regards also to the rehabilitation units and psych beds, etc. I can say that I just came from a meeting where the executive orders were discussed. And to quote him personally, he says, "I will rally to ensure that the city gets every penny it deserves from the federal government for every not-for-profit."
Do you have one more question from Jay Byers? Jay?
Jay, was that a question or hands
No,
up?
sorry, I'm Zoom. He's on Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yes.
It was just in regards to the borough president's plan on childcare. So just is the proposal also impacting on the salary and wages for the staff that operate child daycare centers?
So that was the third point that I raised one of the key things was to review the ways to facilitate and make it easier to pay those who actually do provide healthcare. Yes.
Okay. I was just bringing it up because I know that the state, at least providers are advocating for some state. There's a state bill that Senator Brisport carries, but also a part of the advocacy for the budget. There is some form of fund that they're asking for with a specific amount that would equate to like $12,000 per center to
I'm
have
not
to be
aware of
able to
the
pay their
bill
staff.
you're speaking of. However, this initiative is from the Manhattan Board of Presidents and through our Office and Policy Department.
I get that. I was just mentioning it to you so you can maybe because this comes from the providers, so it might be helpful to you.
If you want to send me an email, actually, I would love to pass it on to the policy team. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are going to move quickly on to the public session, starting with folks in the room. The first is from the Family Enrichment Center of Washington Heights. So we can have you step up to speak about the naming campaign. We're also going to queue up the next two speakers. If we can have you queue up near the folding table, it's Emma's Torch, NGO. And I believe this is the district attorney, which, yeah. You know what, actually. So we can have folks that just queued up, hang out at that folding table. Thank you. Each person has 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Cruz, Community Liaison for the Family Enrichment Center from Washington Heights and Inwood. And we have some exciting news, and they are that our center is under final construction stages. So we hope to open by early March. Knock on wood. We're waiting for the certificate of occupancy, but before we open, we need a name. So we need your help by choosing one of these 10 names that best represents the best resonates with you and best represents the spirit and the heart of our community. So I will be passing around these paper ballots, and I will be sharing with the board the link for online voting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up from Emma's Torch NGO, speaking on new inward program. If we can have you step up to the mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Emma Hoffman. I'm coming from an organization called Emma's Torch. Right now, up until this point, we've only existed in Brooklyn. We're a culinary training program and professional development for survivors of forced migration. And we are coming to Inwood. We actually just started our first cohort of students. We're really excited to be here. And I just wanted to come and meet everyone. It's really exciting to be in this space This is like one of my favorite parts of the job, to get to come to community board events and this type of thing. So if for any reason you would see that we would have crossover, right? Any organizations in the room, council members, that kind of thing, that the mission of Emma's Torch sounds interesting to you, I'd love to chat with you afterwards. Happy to sign in for the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as the representative from the district attorney's office comes up to tell us about the high school internship, we're gonna keep the next three speakers against the wall over on this side of the room, which is Cassandra Innocent, AC Carled, and SBSWH.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fernanda Luján. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, located in Washington Heights. The address is 530 West 166th Street on the 6th floor. It is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. The director of the Washington Heights office is Jocelyn Minaya. I'm sure most of you know her. So when you come to our office, if you have any concerns, if you've been a victim of a crime, we will not ask for your immigration status. So please encourage people to come in if they are a victim of a crime. So I'm here to announce that our high school internship program is not open. It's now open. It's a 5-week internship that provides students with an insider's view of the criminal justice system. Participants will have the opportunity to engage in workshops, discussions, and also participate in a mock trial. The applications will close on March 12th, and applicants must reside in Manhattan. They must be current sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And we will also host virtual information sessions for prospective applicants. This will be on Thursday, February the 6th, from 6 to 7. We do encourage applicants to attend the session to learn more about the application timeline, any program details, and also hear from any former interns. We will have a resume workshop as well. And this will be in person Friday, February 21st. And at this event, applicants will receive one-on-one resume support from staff at our office, and there will be refreshments provided. So if interested, I have put flyers up at that table over there. And like I said, my name is Fernanda Luján. The office number is 212-335-3320. I will also have my business card available. If any of you have a very like a private question, I will hang out on that section. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fernanda. Next up is Cassandra Innocent from the New York Public Library. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cassandra Innocent. I am the library manager at the Fort Washington Library, the newly renovated, newly reopened Fort Washington Library. If you haven't come up to see us, come up and see us. We're something to see. We have a dedicated space for our teens now. We have a dedicated teen center. If you knew us before, the teens had to share the space with the adults. So now they have their own space. Our children's room is amazing. Thank you for, did you vote for that artwork?
I didn't.
Oh, okay, well.
I did not. But
It's
nice.
still beautiful. It's still beautiful. And our adult space, and as Ebenezer said, we do have, don't rush me with these with renting our spaces, but Ebenezer, you just have to reach out and tell me the dates, and of course, CB12 will be put up first. I also wanted to report for my sister library, the Washington Heights Library. They have an initiative, the NYC First. It's a STEM center on site, which they engage in STEM, robotics. They have office hours between 3 and 6, and it's walk-ins. So if you want to send your teens, your children, they could really get creative. Okay, thank you so much, and don't forget us. We're open. We're ready for everybody. Oh, there's a question? Okay.
Ms. Innocent, Is it possible that you did not mention the most incredible part of the new library?
What's
The
that?
fact that it now has an elevator.
Well, I thought it went without saying, but yeah. Which is something we didn't have before, right? We have an elevator, we have an ADA lift. Because we lost a lot of our seniors, so send them back to us.
I tried to get an elevator in that building about 25 years ago.
Wow.
I couldn't do it, because I was told that the building, there was no room for it. So
Well, it
I-
talks now, it even talks. Come and see it, the elevator.
Here it is.
Yes. Thank you.
Next up is AC Harlan. I may be mispronouncing that. AC Harlan with Steel Whip. I'm not sure if I'm reading this.
Come on up, by the way, if you signed up. It's
Yeah, it's AC.
Stand with immigrants, stand with them, somebody. Oh.
Okay, we'll have SBS.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
we'll have
both
you go
SBS,
next.
oh, right? Okay,
Okay.
alright, so. Time is moving.
Thank you. Good night. Good afternoon. Good night to everyone. So happy to be here. A long time that we didn't come. So my name is Maria Cabrera. I'm Senior Finance and Account Manager in Small Business Solution, Washington Heights. My colleague Valeska, some of you know her from the cannabis team. So we are here to let you know that in those difficult times, we are helping a small business owner with 9 services free. We have licensing, we have navigating to government. If you have a business, you want to have a business and you don't know how to begin, depending what stage is the business, we can help you. Also, if you're needing funding, but now we are promoting the recruitment side. We are teaming with the Workforce One location that is in Washington Heights, and it's helping to get you those employees that you really need. We have a space to do recruitment events, even in your location or inside of the office in Workforce One, Washington Heights. And today I can take some of your names. I have some flyers on the table so we can begin this process and work as a team in order that your dream can become a really dream and successful dream. Thank you so much. Any questions? We are located in 560 West in 181st Street, 2nd floor, in the same office that is Isidro Medina, the Washington Heights building. So you are welcome to come, and we hope that we can help you. Yes. A Small Business Solution Center, Washington Heights, named as SBS. But we are in the Heights.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will move along to, we'll try and stand with immigrants one more time. Okay, you can step up for 2 minutes.
My apologies to the secretary for my lousy handwriting.
All good.
So my name is Al Kurland. I'm a 49-year resident of Washington Heights, retired after 22 years with the PAL. I'm currently a volunteer with the Uptown Youth Collective and Vote 16, New York State, New York City. And I come to you today basically to thank folks who have already done so or who are planning to do so, to stand with our immigrants. Because everybody that has ever lived in the United States has been an immigrant. And immigration has been the foundation of what's made America great. It made America great at our beginning, and immigrants continue to make America great again. Finally, as sinister and manipulative and skillfully evil as Donald Trump is, we have to tone down calling him out by name as the cause of this movement. This movement was conceived in 1954 in opposition to the Supreme Court decision to integrate our schools. At the time, the proponents were considered to be outliers and kooks. And today, Trump has been able to make it business as usual. So we must go not only after Donald Trump, but after the foundations, the think tanks, that conceive of these crazy notions like Project 2025. And we have to go after the people who have financial investments in deconstructing our democracy and turning American friends and neighbors against each other by eroding trust. So thank you very much for your time, and let's fight the evil power.
We'll just do like the last three speakers for in-person, so Emily Cardoza, Sam from Excite Unlimited, and Wes from Excite Unlimited. If we can have you stand against the wall on this side of the room. Next is Emily Cardoza from our speaking room at Bridge, Jaywood Rec Centers.
Hi, my name is Emily Cardoza. I'm the Deputy Center Manager at J. Hood Wright and Highbridge Recreation Center here in Washington Heights. I'm here just because we want to get more involved with our community, so we're starting here with our community board. We're trying to do more outreach to make people aware of our resource. If you're not familiar with the rec centers operated by New York City Parks, we have about 30 locations throughout the city, and we offer free recreation center memberships for people under the age of 25. And we also do affordable programming and have affordable memberships for people 25 and older. We offer programs in a variety of areas like media education, arts, sports. Our goal is to provide people these resources, and also we want to enrich people's lives through recreation. Specifically here in Washington Heights at Highbridge Recreation Center at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, we have Zumba. We also have, that's free for everybody, but with our memberships, we have open sports like basketball and pickleball. We have plenty of youth programs, and we also offer summer camps. We have free learn to swim classes as well for our youth, and then we're doing here in Manhattan specifically an open house the first week of February, from Monday, February 23rd to February 8th, which is a Saturday. The open house means that anybody who wants to use the facility, if you want to work out, use our fitness spaces, use our dance room, use our media lab, it's free. All you need is to fill a waiver and bring a lock and bring your fitness clothes if you're working out. If you haven't been to one of our rec centers, I recommend you stop by and ask for a tour. We have plenty of friendly staff that would like to show you our facilities. Yes?
The dates were February 3rd.
The open house is February 3rd through February 8th, and that's specifically Manhattan Rec Centers. We have 11 locations. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Next is, I hope I'm getting this right, Sam from Excite Unlimited.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is San Andres. For the record, I'm the managing member for Excite Unlimited LLC in New York. I'm here today because our entity is on for resolution number D, and I'm here to request the full support of the board for a supporting resolution to nominate our entity to open a legal licensed cannabis dispensary in the Fort George area, of which borders the border of Inwood and Washington Heights, at our location at 4441 Broadway, New York, New York. I'm here with my partner, Sherry Fanduiz, and I'm going to yield a minute of my time so she can introduce herself to the board. I'm also here with my counselor, Counselor Wee Hugh from MRTA Law, and a supporter of the MRTA Act in the state of New York. So,
hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Ms. Shari Fanduiz, and as my partner just mentioned, I happen to be one of the managing members on behalf of Excite Limited, and we are looking forward to opening up our establishment at 4441 Broadway coming soon, which will be unlimited cannabis, and we definitely are looking to become part of the growth of the community. We are part of the community, and we're looking forward to giving back and to continue to be part of the growth of the community as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, and last is Wee Hugh.
Well, thank you so much. I know it's been a long night. I just want to also speak in support of Excite Unlimited opening a licensed and legal adult use retail dispensary They were unanimously found competent and sort of like able to run a dispensary by the subcommittee. So we are excited to have a legal presence to provide everyone age 21 and over access to legal adult use cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now turn to the virtual public session. First is Melissa Hewitt from Dykeman Farmhouse speaking about the Inwood Sacred Site. You should be able to unmute yourself and you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, thank you. My name is Melissa Keebeat. I'm the Executive Director of the Dykeman Farmhouse Museum. I wanted to come to you tonight to let you know that we have finished up the design for the Inwood Sacred Site located at 212th and 10th Avenue. This has been a years-long project where we have engaged the community, and we had a community group that acted as an advisory board to let us know what things that they think should be in the Inwood Sacred Site to best honor those that were formerly buried on the site, and also to honor the Lenape, whose ceremonial grounds were also on the site. And we are ready to present our design, and would like to know from the board which committee you think would best be suited to present the design to.
Arts and Cultural Affairs would probably be the best committee to refer that to.
Wonderful.
Chair Milan for, we can get you more information.
She has my information.
Okay, you guys have already.
Yes. Yes, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the Inwood Sacred Site in the meantime, and also want to let you all know that for the month of February, we're hosting our virtual lecture series again called Talking About Race Matters. And this time we're going to be focusing on the history of enslavement in the North, and how different sites are honoring that history and telling the full story.
Thank you so much. Next up to speak is Jackie Tessman from Clock, speaking about the needs assessment for Broadway.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Jackie Tessman, Director of Community and Business Developments for Community League of the Heights, also known as Cloth. Some of you may be aware that we've been working toward developing a business improvement district on Broadway between 155th and 178th Street, with an extension on 168th Street between Amsterdam. Between Broadway and Amsterdam. We've made a lot of progress, but we still have a long way to go. And we are still seeking the community's feedback on the conditions of the corridor. We circulated a needs assessments that will help us understand, just how the community feels about the service areas that need attention. It could be sanitation, it could be security, it could be holiday lighting, events. You could write in your suggestions. But basically just how you feel about beautifying the corridors. So it would be great if you could take 5 minutes to complete the survey. I was going to put links in the chat, but I guess they're disabled. I'll put them in Q&A maybe. And then Bruce Robertson has our postcards with the QR code on them. Presumably he put them on a table over there that you could pick them up. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Jackie. Yes, Bruce handed out the postcards. Thank you. Next up is Greg Ippolito from United Palace, speaking about its 95th anniversary.
Hi, everyone. Mike Fiddleson couldn't be here tonight, so he sends his regards. And I'm Greg Ippolito. I'm the event coordinator at the United Palace. Just inviting you all to our 95th anniversary celebration. It'll be on our exact 95th anniversary on February 22nd. We're going to kick it off with a triple feature of the original Star Wars trilogy. With that, there'll be a whole lot of live performances throughout the day. There's going to be Jazz Power Initiative doing a jazzed up rendition of some of the score, some live stormtroopers, a Yoda impression contest, a costume parade, all kinds of stuff throughout the day, as well as raffles of movie memorabilia, and all kinds of good stuff, specialty cocktails, all the good stuff. So the $30 tickets for the whole day go on sale on Monday at 10 a.m. So definitely go to unitedpalace.org and check it out. And we also have memberships available for the whole 95th anniversary, which gets you into all the movies, including Lin-Manuel's screenings, priority access to those. So yeah, hope to see a lot of you there.
Thank you, Craig. People seem excited in the room. Next is Mary Lady Pimentel from We Are speaking about the February meeting. Mary Lady, you should be able to unmute yourself and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Oh, yes. Hi. Good night. Buenas noches. My name is Mary Lady Pimentel. I am the bilingual community organizer at WIAT. Actuamos para proteger el medio ambiente. I would like to invite you to celebrate with us Black History Month at our February membership meeting. That is going to be Saturday, February 8th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the most worshipful Prince Hall, located at 454 West 155 Street. To RSVP, please go to our website, weat.org/event. And thank you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at 646-532-1101. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. And last up for the public session is Rain Hawkins from Parents Supporting Parents, speaking about housing for the youth. Rain, you should be able to unmute yourself and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, I was struggling to unmute, guys. Sorry. Hi, my name is Rain Hawkins. I am the secretary of Parents Supporting Parents New York. The second vice chair is my mother, Tanisha Grant. Right now I'm basically speaking and asking specifically the housing committee of Community Board 12 for help. There are many youths like myself who are struggling to get housing. I have basically my son is about to be 3 years old on Friday and I need my own space. I have applied to about 60 plus housing lotteries. I know I have applied to all the housing lotteries that are in Community Board 12, and I just need help. I need help getting into these buildings. I really need my own space. It's really hard for the youth, such as myself, to be becoming an adult, and it's hard for us to be able to get the certain milestones that we want to get, as far as getting our own apartments and things of that sort, because the resources are in there. So this is, for me, is a cry of help. I really need help getting my own apartment. I already have a couple of housing lotteries that are based in Community Board 12 that I would love to move into, that I would love to be able to get in contact. I would love to be able to get in contact whoever I need to get in contact with to be able to get into these buildings. I just really need help getting my own apartment. And I'm really asking Community Board 12 to give me their help. Thank you.
And that concludes the public session.
All right, thanks everyone for the patience. I know it is 8:06, so hopefully it's gonna be like lightning round. All right, we're gonna move on to starting with what is technically land use, but was ratified and voted at the executive committee. Wayne Benjamin can present it. And then Leo's right here, so we'll dive in.
Thank you, Catherine. And as she mentioned, what's listed as a land use committee resolution is actually at this juncture an executive committee resolution. I refer you to the minutes of the land use committee and thank Heidi Guzman for her excellent job in putting those together. This resolution pertains to the Washington Heights Health Center, the building right here in the corner of 168th and Broadway, that's had scaffolding up since 2015, I believe. The scaffolding is not up because of the MTA. The scaffolding is not up because of the hospital or the university, because the building is owned by the city of New York, which is finally moving forward with a project to address the building envelope, the facades, which basically are the reason the scaffolding is up, to protect any brick or masonry from falling and hurting or killing someone, which is the reason we have local law 11 to begin with. So that project will deal with repairing the facade. It's actually also repairing a lot of outdated mechanical equipment. There is a ramp to the building, but it does not comply with ADA, so a new longer ramp will be put in. The doors are not wide enough to comply with ADA, so the doors will be replaced. The original decorative frame and transom, which is Art Deco, will remain and will be restored, and the sidewalks will be replaced. The project or the resolution went to the executive committee as opposed to coming to the general meeting because the Department of Design and Construction had to present it to the Public Design Commission last Friday. But it was unanimously approved by the Land Use Committee and also by the Executive Committee. Are there any questions pertaining to this project? Jim?
I'm gonna pass you the mic.
This way.
I forgot to wear the right hat, but I got the right shirt. Technically, this group is ratifying an action taken by the executive committee on our behalf. So they already passed this and we have to ratify the fact that they did it. And I just want to point out, it would look awfully stupid if we didn't do that, because then we have a crisis, because we already said we approve it. And I don't doubt we will approve it, but I just wanted to point that out. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I would just point out, in addition to approving the project, we also, if you see in the resolution, urge the Department of Design and Construction to expedite the project schedule, because at this juncture, even though we're in the beginning of 2025, construction is not scheduled to begin until the winter of 2026 and meant to take 2 years. So that's a long time frame, and we're asking them to speed that up so finally the scaffolding can come down.
Good evening, everyone. Leo Jimenez here on behalf of Traffic and Transportation. I'm also going to refer to the minutes. Thank you, Carmen, for writing them out. I really, really appreciated the help. So we have 2 resolutions bringing to the board today. The first one was passing the committee to support extending no parking and no standing regulations on the east side of 9th Avenue between West 218th Street and West 220th Street to reduce traffic congestion caused by Zeta Elementary and Middle School. Because the students pick up and drop offs. The Department of Sanitation garages that house 2 other districts. And to ensure that there's 24 access for MTA buses during the Kingsbridge Depot roof repair project. This request will remove about 18 to 20 parking spaces according to DOT, and it aims to improve traffic flow and bus operations, benefiting local facilities. We also have a walkthrough with them tomorrow, just to ensure myself, the committee, the council member's office, MTA, just to ensure that we aren't inconveniencing the school. Any questions on that resolution? Yes, also.
No, before you become one, please.
Oh.
Sound safety.
So I'm not sure why you guys need to go for no parking or no standing 7 AM to 4 PM like any other school. It seems to me that this is gonna help the MTA because they will park buses on the east side of 218, which to some degree they do already. So the school, before the school opened, this problem was already there. So the school came in and now we are trying to cater to a problem the school knew exists. So I would personally vote against it because I think it's unfair to have the entire stretch of 9th Avenue, no parking 24/7. If you would go to, 7 AM to 4 PM, that make more sense. You help the school and everyone's happy. But as is, the school is already cut all the parking on their side of the street. So now we're cutting more parking, and it's a significant, if this was only on 1 or 2 spots, I would say fine. But we're talking about 20 spots,
It's about 18 to 20 spots. Correct.
20 spots, that's a lot.
Yeah, so the discussion did come out at the committee. Unfortunately, the school, when they drop off students or pick up students, they're up to triple parking. When the bus depot does the repairs, they will have some buses park on the outside, correct? But it's to facilitate operation. It's a 24/7 facility. And we want to ensure that the buses that service the rest of the community are able to get out of that stretch without issues. Right now, according to MTA, there's about 10-15 minutes delay when the stretch of about 2 blocks. This is also a temporary ask. It's not a permanent. So it's just to kind of facilitate and smooth out the process while the repair gets done. But I understand you as well. Yes.
Before you, hang on 1 second, please. Zoom camera.
I have a concern between the bus lanes, the bike lanes, and now the schools needing extra parking. The elimination of the amount of parking spaces for those of us that have vehicles is abusive.
I understand. I have a vehicle as well. So depending on the location, right? Those no standing you see are not for schools that are faculty parking. DOT explained to us that those parkings are to facilitate the drop off students at the curb space, at the curb line. So to be honest with you, yes, I completely agree with you. It's removing a lot of parking in our area, but we want to create safety for our children. So that's the reason for this.
As recent as I think about 2 months ago, 182nd Street between Amsterdam and Laurel Hill, the Department of Transportation eliminated all parking spaces.
For the bridge project, yes.
Sorry?
For the bridge project, yes. They were creating the bike path for the bridge.
That would be about 40 parking spaces?
It was about 24, according to them. Yes, about 24 in Jim or Bruce, I believe, for the on Laurel Place. This is more than most of all when they had the bridge project to create the bike lane on 181st. They eliminated about 24 parking spaces, I believe. That's what DOC.
Hold on, there's someone to.
Yeah.
Let's only finish.
Yes, go ahead, Sonny. So honestly, I engage in this conversation. Come to our meetings. DOT is there. They're willing and they listen. Just come join our meetings and voice your concerns. I will mention at the end of my session when is the meeting, but I suggest you come and voice your concern. I agree with you. I also have a car. Certain locations that we have to understand for this resolution specifically, it's just to facilitate MTA access to the depot. So again, it's temporary. It's not a permanent thing. I understand a lot of your concerns. Yes. I got it. Yes,
So,
Barbara. And then Jim has it.
Often it's not just where we cars, the question I have are many multivariable problem to look at. For example, we've talked about the safety of the students. Well, what about a better use of school crossing guards and the ancillary staff in the school, escorting kids to cars?
Barbara, I agree with what you're saying. That's not on the DOT's bill, actually. That's
it's school's responsibility. I mean, they've obviously recruited a lot of
Yeah,
students
they're-
that are not exactly from the area, and that's why parents are driving distances to pick them up. And I don't like the idea that our neighbors are losing their parking spots to facilitate, commuter students. That really bothers me. Especially because I believe that his discussion talked about.
Again, I just wanna. Go ahead, Bob.
You know, Ebenezer spoke in his discussion about congestion pricing, forcing local parkers out of the neighborhood. And I mean, I can tell you how many neighbors talk about driving around for 2-3 hours at a time, trying to find a parking space or paying $35 overnight. So I don't believe the sign goes up, no standing, 24 hours a day, that's ever gonna come down. I mean, I don't know.
Just one more time for clarification, this resolution specifically at this stretch is to facilitate bus operations. A lot of, just like I drive as well, but we also have to advocate for other parts of the community, right? There's commuters take buses. We've heard many concerns at our committee. That's why, again, I encourage you guys to come to the committee, where they have to wait 10, 15, 20 minutes in the cold for the buses to come to them because of the one triple parking. So again, this resolution specifically at that stretch, it's to help buses operate. Yeah, point of order.
Oh, no, sorry, point of privilege. Let's clarify one, and there's extra copies up here, and it's on Airtable, what the resolution's about, because based on comments, there's some, there's different understandings. Two, there's a long order of stats, and it's already 8:20. So we're gonna take the next three. Leo has another one, also a little similar. So let's make sure that we're briefed up on it. This reso is about extending the no parking, no standing to facilitate the MTA bus, not school buses. The issue, and we've talked about this at the board since Zeta Charter School opened, is that they have triple double parking. And the MTA has tried, as has the board, as has everybody, to be able to reduce and mitigate and understand like what are the school plans for drop off. It hasn't worked, which is why this resolution is coming. So this is not about facilitating school drop off or anything like that. It's about MTA buses getting in and getting out. All right, let's keep going with that.
Jim had a comment.
Jim,
Yeah.
then it was Richard
And Steve.
and Steve, because OC already spoke.
Thank you. I'm a member of the committee, which is why I've chosen to speak. As our chairman just pointed out, this is about buses. And because of the congestion there, and this was explained to us by the people from the bus terminal, this people, whatever it is. There are people all up and down the line for these buses who are waiting for buses that cannot get to them because of the craziness that's going on there. The other thing, and I agree with another speaker, if a sign says no standing anytime, and that would only be for the lane, the removed parking that the buses will be using, nobody should be standing there at any time, and that would include, by the way, buses. If it says no standing, it means everybody. And the other thing, it's sort of peripheral, really 2 minutes?
No.
Yeah. Thank you. In terms of others using no standing or no parking for their own purposes, if it says no parking, they should get tickets. It's not teacher parking unless it's a sign, it's signed as teacher parking. If it says no standing, it's no standing for everybody. I think that the key you're hearing from me, and I think you all agree, is unless greater efforts are made to enforce rules, because people often don't abide by them all by themselves. They really should, but we're gonna stay in this position. So in fact, we're having a walkthrough tomorrow, and my attitude will be, I will listen, of course, but my attitude is whatever craziness is going on there has to stop. And in fact, there was a similar problem with another charter school on between Community Boulevard and Washington Avenue. Exactly. And that was solved as far as I know. It got better for a little bit. But it seemed like you didn't have any comment, but it seemed to me that it was.
Stephen and Richard, so it's easy.
I think we should not.
9 days on this one.
Leo.
Yes.
This resolution brings to me that we were asking for this change on a permanent basis. And that's because in the first resolve, it says that we want the bus fleet should have access necessary to operate efficiently during the Kingsbridge Depot roof repair project and beyond. So I suggest that I'd like to offer an amendment that those two words be deleted and that higher up in that sentence, after it says that we support the extension of these regulations along the east side of Ninth Avenue between 218th and West 220th Street, we insert on a temporary basis.
I accept your friendly amendment, Mr. West. That shouldn't be there. That's an error of mine, but I accept it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then it was Richard?
Thank you.
Yes?
Yes, Richard, sorry. We gotta move on to the next one also since you spoke on with position. Richard.
I just want to express some concern about whatever temporary commitment that MTA is making on using curbside space. I would want to see that with date specific. MTA's track record in other locations of gobbling up curbside space that supposedly for temporary usages, legitimate sounding temporary usages, but finding reasons to extend that into permanent is not a good track record. So I'm looking forward to hearing a little more of how this, if this were to happen, how it reaches its sunset.
That's right. I think.
Can we cover the next one and then, because I'm sure there's gonna be hands raised soon.
Yeah.
They're very similar.
It's very similar.
But after 220th Street, put in on a temporary basis.
On a temporary basis?
Well, okay, fine. That's okay.
Okay. And third, whereas.
One of them in the resolve, right? Yes. Yeah.
In the resolved or?
Yeah, right down to where less 220.
Yeah, right.
Bless you. All right, we'll continue to edit.
For the next one? Yeah. Okay.
All right, so moving on. The next resolution is pretty similar. We about a couple months ago, we received a visit from St. Spiridon Orthodox Church and the charter school. School on the Square. Their patrons, parishioners, parents were receiving tickets whenever they were dropping off students, picking up students or loading to the church with the ACE program. If you guys are not aware of the ACE program, that's the automated camera enforcement program from MTA. The BX36, which runs along that route, is a part of the pilot program. So just a brief explanation, if you're double parked or illegally parked or parked in a bus lane, the bus comes behind you, takes a picture. If another bus comes right after, it'll take a picture of you, you'll receive a ticket through the mail. It gives you about a 2-minute grace period before you get the ticket. So they have been paying off their parishioners' tickets, parents' tickets, and they were up to here with it. So they came to us at the committee and asked us to pretty much tell MTA or to remove it from this route. Obviously, it's the New York State regulations, it's here to stay. It was implemented last summer. We cannot remove it, but we decided to have a walkthrough with the council member's office, self, MTA, the school, church, and upon a 2-hour conversation, DOT gave us a recommendation, which we kind of assessed, and we agreed to reconfigure the curb space. If anybody knows the location, most of the block on the southern end is a no standing, again, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. for school drop-off and pickups for student safety. About halfway around the block, there's a parking spot for the pastor or the priest of the church. A little further down, there's a hydrant, and then after that, closer to the northern corner, there's about 3 parking spaces. We agreed between the parties that were a part of this walkthrough to remove these three parking spaces, and take up the whole block and for no standing, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on all days, just to allow pickup and drop off, loading and unloading for the students, parents of students, parishioners, and just to kind of alleviate this problem. If you guys know this location, it's a two-way street. It's about 1 lane going each way, parking across both sides. There's a rehabilitation program with the Trans-Manhattan Expressway overpass has a project coming up. There's active bus routes around that area. There's a commercial corridor about 2 blocks over. There's a busway on 181st, so it's a lot of traffic congestion. The bridge is a couple blocks away from there. So our resolution that we passed at the committee is to remove those 3 parking spaces, only 3 parking spaces, and allow no standing 7 to 4 p.m. on school day, all days. Any questions? Yes, Liz.
I have a general comment and I have a specific question. So the general comment is, I have a car, I park it on the street, I also take the subway, I take the bus. I appreciate the work that the committee is doing in trying to figure out how do we share and allocate the precious resource of curb space in a way that is equitable to people who drive, people who use public transit, whatever. It's difficult. There are always going to be people who disagree. So by and large, I think that these 2 resolutions make sense to me. I appreciate Steve's clarification on the first one about the temporary. I don't quite understand why it's no parking, no standing, all days as opposed to just school days, because since this is essentially a school problem, I don't think you need to change the parking regulation for like days that school is not in session. That's a small quibble. I would suggest you change it to.
For this reso or the?
For the second reso, that you change it to whatever it is, 7 to 4 on school days, not all days, because Saturday and Sunday, this isn't a problem. So the other more general thing is, to Jim's point earlier, I was gonna raise this anyway, the issue with the charter school on Fort Washington Avenue and the former Mother Cabrini High School is decidedly still a huge problem. I'm not looking to adjudicate it here, but I would very much like, given that the committee clearly understands that there are a bunch of issues with, as it happens, charter schools, if you could take a look and revisit that charter school. It's not okay that they come in and completely F with the local traffic without really any concern for the folks who live there.
Thank you, Liz. Just to reference the comment, the reason we're putting all days, one of the main concerns besides the school and the safety of the children is that the parishioners that attend the church aren't able to unload or load passengers, right? If you have somebody with disabilities, somebody, elder, patron. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you, Liz. Thank you. And we'll connect about the charter school by the former convening.
It's Sonia, Tracy, I see Barbara, I see OC. We gotta close here, y'all. It's 8:30.
Again, I encourage everybody to attend the Traffic and Transportation Committee. Clearly, it's a huge concern.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Monday through Friday during school days and not during church days.
I understand. Thank you for your perspective.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
Tracy.
I bet that's back up.
Hi, Tracy, first time, long time. My question is the parishioners, are the parishioners members of our community?
So, yes, we have quite a few in a community, yes. No, yes, that's a great question. Yes, they are. The other concern is they have had about a 65% drop off in attendees to the church. It's one of the only Greek Orthodox church in our neighborhood. I actually was a student of St. Spirit on Orthodox school when I was 3-year-old. So they were one of the first universal pre-K schools in our community. Funny enough, so yes, but yeah, it's been a huge drop off in parishioners attending church.
Let's do, if you're okay, let's do OC because she's on your way up and then Barbara. Well, wrap up.
So in terms of the no parking, no standing 24/7. When you go tomorrow on 218th Street, there is a no parking, no standing for probably over 20
Over 20,
years.
yeah.
But the MTA is using that to park their buses double parking at night. Okay, so what I'm saying is that when you don't put on your resolution, that it's no parking, no standing 24/7. I think that at least you should change it to like what I said, 7 AM to 4 PM during school days. And so other, members of the community can park on other days and other times. Because the MDA is using those spots and they will use the no standing east of Ninth Avenue to park their buses, and I will take photos and I'll prove that, I will prove everyone here wrong.
OC, trust me, I believe you. We'll make sure as a committee, it's not only myself, Jim, Jody, Bruce, Carmen, and James. We're gonna be joining, we're gonna ensure that MTA does not take advantage of this request. Obviously, it's enforcement, but we'll do our best to adjust it. Unfortunately, I can't.
Because workers at the Allen Pavilion that do park there after like 4 PM and then walk up the hill to the Allen Pavilion. And I want to say, one of the issues is enforcement. So is it possible we could add to one of these resolutions just to ask that we call on the 34th precinct to increase enforcement in these parking zones? I mean, I would like a ticket blitz up on Fort Washington Avenue. So can we add that we in general call upon the 34th precinct to vigilantly enforce against the double parking, triple parking?
So we included somewhat of that in our resolution. We can't, the police, unfortunately, they're very limited in numbers. I believe the council member's office says they have 2 patrol cars, I think, in our area. They don't have a lot.
In general, they have to.
Yeah. They have, I think, I was told 4 traffic agents for our district. We can request it. I've included that we want all these parties to join us so we could come up with a comprehensive plan to address these issues. I can't force anybody to do a job.
Pick out time is a specific time. It's a good time to hit it,
All right,
Okay.
that
I can do
concludes,
that.
you could keep typing if you need to.
Yeah.
That concludes, we're gonna move on to, locals.
Sorry, guys, make sure you attend our committee meetings every first Monday of the month, 7 o'clock. We have actually a very huge meeting coming up on Zoom. We're gonna be talking about the plazas in our area. And I know a lot of people aren't happy with them, so you don't have to make it in person, even though I love to see your beautiful faces. Jump on Zoom, voice your opinions. We're there, Committee of Action and Advocacy. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you. Hey, yeah. And join Noble's Task Force as well. We're here to support. Same night.
I don't know why it says climbing.
Me? Yeah. That's cool. What's up, man? Nice job. Man. You're an expert in the field.
Yeah, man.
Hey, folks. I'm Nobles Crawford, the chair of the Cannabis Task Force. We were 1 letter away from Resolution C, which would have been apropos and nice, but hey, maybe next time. So check it out. We have our 4th legal retail dispensary in front of us right now. And just to let you know, the printout for the resolution was actually the incorrect version, which is okay. The correct version is in the email that went out at 3:15. I will read it for you now. And so that way. No, let me read it for you. So I'll read it for you now. This will be very quick. Just humor me because I don't usually have much business in front of you guys. Again, this is our 4th since last February. Okay. Anyway, whereas CB12 Cannabis Task Force met on Monday, January 6, 2025, of course, to hear comments from the community and precinct regarding the establishment's application for CB12 approval. And whereas the representatives, San Andres Sanford, who's here tonight, thank you. The license holder, legal counsel, and partner who's also here tonight, both of them, were present to answer questions and concerns. And whereas this is a cannabis retail dispensary in the heart of Northern Manhattan, the committee was heartened to receive the owner's word that 1, he would continue to work closely with CB12 after license approval, Two, Excite Unlimited would be would be staging ground for cannabis education and community outreach. Three, they would take care to follow CB12's good neighbor guidance. And whereas the owner license holder assured us he'd hire worthy candidates from anywhere in New York City and will make sure local potential employees, staff, and security are given many opportunities as well. And San Andreas has had a presence in Northern Manhattan from early on and provides a multitude of business services in the area, including tax assistance for local businesses. And whereas the business owner expressed his goal to keep the sidewalks clear of any delivery bikes, as well as traffic caused by vehicles, double parking, long-term parking, we do not want this conversation to happen for marijuana. Anyway, although San Andreas' experience with the retail cannabis approval process has been long and confusing, understood, our board members expressed their concern for his demeanor for our volunteer task force and that his treatment of our members should not reflect his frustration with our state and city process. And whereas CB12 wants to provide an equitable application process to all prospective licensees, despite personality traits, his application and adherence to the business parameters set forth by CB12 were complete. And therefore, resolved, the Community Board 12, Manhattan has no objections to the New York State Office of Cannabis Management's new application of the adult use retail license for Excite Unlimited with a vote, because there was an incorrect statement before, with a vote of 3 yea, 1 abstain. Just some quick final comments. This business, because I think some of you knew that this business was going to come in front of us in December. We had some questions. We worked with the owner licensee on his application, came back in front of us in January, and that's when we had this vote. I am open to questions.
See if Zoom. Let me
Yeah, the mic's right.
Hey, Noble, sorry, I didn't see this earlier. Could you clarify this, penultimate whereas a board member expressed their concern with his demeanor for a volunteer task force? I don't quite understand what it's about and is it necessary? It seems like a negative thing.
Well, great question. Are you in the room or?
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. I was like, all right. Yeah. No, look, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this quick. Like, so during the meeting, getting a license in our state can be a very frustrating process because honestly, there's been a lot of commitments given from the state in private investment that hasn't happened. So sometimes we get a lot of tension in our meeting. Not a lot. It's a marijuana task force. Let's be honest. But sometimes that's different. And honestly, it was something that our committee felt dearly to put into the resolution. You can go back and look at the videos, make your own determination. But I want to be very clear. The paperwork and the business, like the adherence to OCM's policies and our CB12 rules in our application were adhered to. So the vote of 3 yea, 1 abstain, anything in this resolution, you need to know that everything from a business perspective is there. And look, I've had great bosses, bad bosses, and everything in between. I'm not here to adjudicate that. If you have the proper things to open up a business, you should open up a business. And that was just objectivity. Who's the next question? Yes.
Sorry, hello, you know me. So despite personality traits, is that going to open up the doors for misinterpretation?
That's a really good question.
Because it doesn't read objective.
It doesn't read objective, sorry?
It doesn't read like an objective document. So it's like it has like a sprinkling.
I'm open to
of something
wordsmithing.
there.
I'm open to wordsmithing, but I think you understand the spirit of the law. It was in the email from 315. It was in the email, yeah, from 315. I understand that.
The next one. My only thing is it doesn't have to be a substitute, but maybe strike out so that it reads an equitable application process to all prospective licensees. That's it, despite personality traits.
Okay. So it's kind of like a dot.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know, because it cancels each other out because that's the POV.
What do you mean personality?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah. I got personality traits sometime. Absolutely.
Maybe strike it out.
Yeah, well, let me cancel it out because I think it is important from my committee members that they wanted this represented in it. And so I'm certainly happy to take that friendly, I'm not even sure if it's called friendly amendment or what is this change, to put it also in the last paragraph, which says basically, look, this man can open up a business. He has everything ready for it, despite personality. Let's go. I do want to make sure, like, I hear what you're saying, cancel it out, but I don't want to take it out because it is a POV of my committee. Yes.
It's, it was Heidi, then
Heidi.
Tracy, then Jim. All right, if right now we're discussing revisions to language, please provide them because he pulled it up. Is this
Thank
the last
you.
one?
That's the last one. Yes. Good. Next.
This may be my ignorance about the process and about the meeting that you guys had where you voted on this resolution, but I was just noodling around on Google and I saw that there was a notification to open this business in the Bronx, and I'm wondering if there was a discussion about why they ultimately decided to open here in our district.
That was corrected. That was on a previous application in December, and it was corrected for the January application in front of us. But thank you for that question. Astute to detail. Very good. Who's next?
I'm just gonna go to who's closest for their meetings, I thought I saw hands.
Jim.
Apparently, the behavior of some people at the meeting was less than perfect, which is what this discussion is about. I think it's important that maybe with yet different language, we reiterate in this resolution in particular that we expect proper decorum from everyone involved in the process and leave it at that. Because from what I heard secondhand about what went on at this meeting, it was not a comfortable situation for many people, and we had to complain. I personally feel, especially with my background as parliamentarian, that we have to put our foot down. We try our best to be civil. We expect our guests to be civil, and that's that. So that's the kind of language I would like.
Decorum. Thank you. Accepted. Liz?
Yeah. So I think I didn't hear anything about this meeting, but from what I can gather, I feel like the minutes, which are publicly available and on our website, should absolutely capture whatever it was that happened in the meeting that the individual in question was impolite or undecorous, or, I mean, I can't really say because I wasn't at the meeting. But whatever was contentious about the individual, the presentation, the discussion, that should absolutely be captured in the minutes, because that's a public record and that speaks to whatever was the concern of your committee members and to Jim's, and I suspect all of our passion for being reasonable in meetings. I don't think it belongs in the reso, because the reso is what it is that we are saying as a board we would like an agency to do, or an elected official to consider, and how we feel about the individual's presentation. The fact that we're recommending that the license be approved, whether or not he was a jerk in the meeting, is for the minutes, not the reso. So that was the lead up. This is the pitch. I respectfully request that that third whereas just be removed.
Not gonna respond? Yes, I can. Thank you for that. Two amazingly good points. I'll take the first one first, and I'll get to the second one. And the first one, taking minutes for you for many years in the Parks and Cultural Affairs Committee, and also being the good secretary of this board for a couple of years as well. I love the minutes. I will tell you though, there can be a lot of subjectivity in minutes, and I wanted to make sure that when it came to our minutes for the website, it is a very good standard meeting. There's also a video that's public record. And so the live stream, I believe, is on YouTube. Anyone can look at that. I look at that as like a virtual minutes. And if someone wants to have their own opinion of it, they can go look at it. They don't have to read my filter on it in the minutes. Second thing. Oh, I missed it. Second thing was about, help me out, Liz. There's two parts to that.
I think it doesn't belong in the reso.
Think it doesn't belong in the reso. Thank you. I actually think it does, and I'll tell you why. When we started this committee, we started it because it's an interesting committee, because the law and the spirit of the law of what, like in the spirit of the law, are so intertwined, especially in the beginning, that being like who the folks are that are coming into the neighborhood with marijuana, with cannabis dispensaries, it's really important to know who they are from a community involvement perspective, from honestly a demeanor perspective, and we've put that in other resolutions. If you remember the Happy Monkey resolution, you know, it went a lot differently in terms of that conversation, but we put great things in that resolution about the conversation. And so I want to make sure in the resolution, especially for, you know, future's sake, we understand the types of people that want to make a cannabis dispensary. And so that's why I thought it was important to put in this, and also it was really important to the committee.
Hold on.
Friendly, change in the wording.
Sure.
Because I just like difficult personalities or whatever that wording is, just seems odd to me.
That's why I didn't put it in the minutes.
You could to a periodically contentious meeting.
Oh, I like that.
Or,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I'll make the change in the chair, but accept it. Yep. I like it. I'll make that change.
All right, we're super behind.
Yep. But I do want to say, yep.
Before you respond, I
Yep.
want to let Tanisha, like Zoom hasn't spoken, Tanisha has her hand
Oh,
up.
okay.
Let's have Tanisha speak. You already have the language you're gonna change.
Yep.
I don't think we need to continue
Nope.
discussion. That's the
I
last
agree.
one. Go
I
ahead,
totally
Tanisha.
agree.
Chair, first I want to say, Noble, I absolutely am a fan of your leadership and how you run your meetings and
Thank
just
you.
your demeanor
Oh,
and your
guys.
personality. But I have to push back a little bit
Please.
on you.
I'm willing for the feedback. Of course.
Because the community board is here to help. We are not here to hurt. So when we have formed a task force so that we can encourage people to get their marijuana licenses and open up businesses in our community, it shouldn't feel like we're pulling teeth when we have and we're asking questions. I was in this meeting and I was thoroughly disappointed at the demeanor and the way the questions were asked. Noble, I cannot go anywhere for my business and have that type of attitude and get anything. So when we're talking about personality, if we're talking about businesses that we want in our community, personality does factor into it, because as a consumer of marijuana, I want to know that if I go to this establishment, that I will be treated with respect and, appreciate my business. So I would suggest that all of the community members go back and look at that thing, and that's all I'll say about it. That video on YouTube that is available to all of us. Thank you, Noble.
And then we have a committee member that also wants to speak. I'd like to get Carl to speak too. But so
Okay.
it's you doing the Carl, that's it?
I'm not very, if also allow me, because Carl has not spoken. all
Right, and
meeting.
Carl's on the
He
committee.
speaks. You got a
Yeah,
minute,
and-
Carl. But we got Isidro, we're voting, and then chairs, if we can refer to minutes. Unless you have an announcement, let's do that.
Hi, so, I was at the meeting as a committee member, and, there was this sense that maybe, the representative of the organization wasn't entirely amiable. But I didn't get that sense. So I mean, it then becomes a matter of interpretation and perspective, what anybody feels. Some people may be maybe more sensitive than others. I don't think there was a problem because, the gentleman explains that part of the reason may be that it may have been that he had this mask on. That the mask kind of maybe filtered or modulated the way the answers are coming through. So I didn't think there was that much of a problem. That should be a deal breaker. So I support what we said, that perhaps we shouldn't have that kind of language in the resolution, because this is a recommendation from the board or from the board to vote up or down. If the committee voted based on their impressions of what the proceedings were, then that should be conclusive in terms of what we recommend to the board. So we cannot give it one hand and take back with the other. So I think it should be an affirmative recommendation that this application be approved.
Just really quick, I'm going to change the language to previously contentious conversation instead of the personality piece. I'm going to update that in my seat. I think that should get to it, because you got to admit it was. You can look at the video, folks. Just look at the video. Objectivity is key here. Make your own decisions. Yes. Last one. Isidro? Is it? No?
It's Isidro's
I
turn.
think we're done. All right, come on up, bud. Come on up. I'll make this change. Very good.
All right, we're going to liquor.
Yeah. The vice group. All right.
From cannabis to alcohol.
Pedro, before you begin, Nobles, the resolve here has to be changed.
Hold on, can you just give it to him and before we vote, we'll clarify what the language is, please?
You're not referring to-
Isidro gotta go, Isidro.
Thank you so much, Chair. Many thanks to Anthony for writing up the minutes. Also to Steve and Ossie for constructive comments on the resolutions. We only have 4. There are some typos that we have to correct. I already made the changes on the computer. They will be sent out to Ebenezer. They include deleting a whereas, which is the second one from other resolutions, because that's a repeat. Also changing some S's on the on-premise instead of on-premises. Some zip code address changes, adding one phrase to the last result, which is to add. Just give me a second here, just to approve the last resolution as a negative vote as a recommendation to SLA. That was a comment that was received from both Ossie and Steve. I must say that the resolution that we did not approve was because in negotiation, the committee asked a lot of questions about the venue that was requesting an on-premise liquor license. The area which is on the northwest corner of 180th Street had already a restaurant wine license. The new operator wants a full liquor license. However, every single member of the committee had a question or has some concerns about this area because it's a area that is polluted with gang activities. The operator did not want to come with a compromise with the committee. They were asking for 4 o'clock closure. We tried to negotiate. They were very adamant about going to SLA with a request. And we said, good luck to you, wish you well, but we are rejecting this application. On that point, Chair, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Steve.
Yeah, and in resolution number 2, thank you. Resolution number two. I think what it is the 6th whereas says that the owner was not present.
Yes.
And then further down, it says that the owner agreed to stipulations.
Yes.
So which is it?
Thank you for clarifying. So
Was he or was he not there?
no, he was not there,
That's a good
and
question.
yes.
Yeah, and I hope you get it right. He was either there or not.
So the applicant was not there.
Okay.
The intent of the whereas, which is number 7, is to let the community board office let the operator know that we had requested 2 steps. So the idea is that they were not there, but the board was going to send me a letter requesting that they're going to add 2 steps.
So he hasn't actually agreed to at this point.
That we had agreed to send this request to the board.
Yeah, but the way this reads is that the owner is agreed.
It's going to be changed. Yeah, that's going to be changed. It's already changed on the resolutions. I made the changes
So these are requests we're gonna make of the owner.
to the board office to send those requests of the stipulations to the operator. We're not requesting the operator, we're requesting the board office. Yes, to the operator.
But you don't know how he will respond.
That's something that we're going to wait until they come, if they ever come back. But we request every single applicant for those 2 steps. Any questions on the? All right. Thanks again, also. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Anthony.
All right. We're gonna do Alexis's first roll call. Before we get to Alexis, Leo updated language. Oh, sorry, you updated the language on the same spirit on anything else that changed besides the people?
No, not on same spirit on
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Ninth Avenue West. So I changed all the no standing to school days, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. From a friendly amendment from OC, even Liz and a couple of the Barbara. So it says no standing school days, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
On item A.
For the
On
first
on
resolution,
item
yes,
A.
correct. Well, the second side already had it, but I'm keeping it all days on the second resolution because the church, it's part of their request. They need to drop off parishioners. For the first resolution on 9th Avenue, school days, which is, pull it up real quick. This resolution. This
Sorry, item B.
yeah. For B. Yeah, it's temporary. It's on the bottom.
Okay. Nobles, you have
Yeah.
language?
Yeah, I got it.
Temporary basis.
All right, thank you, Leo.
All right, let's give this a shot. So. Okay, so I have here, so it's just a whereas, it's just two whereases, right? Okay, so although San Andre's experience with the retail cannabis approval process has been long and confusing, our board members expressed their concern for his demeanor for a volunteer task force stemming from the contentious line of questioning from the applicant. Whereas CB12 wants to provide an equitable application process to all prospective licenses, as well as expects decorum when working with us when reviewing complete applications as this one was. So then resolved, yada, yada, with the last piece here, I took out the vote total in the end because Mr. Simon taught me something today. Only vote totals go in the general board resolutions. They do not go into the committee minutes. That's new. Got it.
Okay, they don't go into the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Where's roll call? Where's roll call? Who's somebody's phone? Alexis, can you pass her the lava mic for Alexis? No, you can stay there if you want. You got the lava mic, and I'll just unmute Zoom for you.
Kelvin Adamas? Kelvin? Not here,
No.
on Zoom?
No.
Marina Alcabar Ramirez? Well, yes, Paul? With the changes. With the changes, thank you. Richard Almond?
No on B, yes to the rest.
Richard Almond, no on B, yes to the rest. Mary Anderson? Yes to all. Yes to all. Jay Baez?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Jacob Bannis?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Cordelia Barnes? Yes to all. Yes to all. Wayne Benjamin?
I abstain on D, yes to the rest.
Abstain on D, yes to the rest. James Berlin?
This is the start, yes to all.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, Jane Belen. Wow.
Thank you. Daniel Bonilla?
Yes, all.
Yes to all. Hector Bonilla? Who's that?
No, he's on Zoom.
Who's that?
Sorry.
Hector
Hector.
Bonilla?
You can come back.
James Bosley?
Yes to all.
James Bosley, yes to all. Eliezer Bueno?
Abstain B, C, and D, yes to all.
Abstain B, C, and yes, and then yes to all.
No, he's not abstaining.
The B's MTA.
He's not voting on B and C.
Not okay, conflict from B and C and.
Isn't B MTA?
You said abstain B and C? Don't shoot me.
He's not saying. Yeah. And what is the conflict?
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, he works for the
Yeah,
DOT.
that is a BLT, requesting for BLT.
Yeah, but
Got it.
he's supposed to say.
Darrell Confer?
Yes to all.
Yes to all, Darrell, yes to all. Darlie Cornell? Darlie?
She was in the bathroom. You can keep going.
Nobles Crawford?
Yes to all.
Nobles Crawford, yes to all. Robin Cruz?
Yes to all.
Robin Cruz, yes to all. Catherine Diaz?
Not voting on B due to conflict because of my position at OCM, and yes to the rest.
Noemi Diaz?
Yes to all, abstaining on D.
Noemi Diaz, yes to all, abstain on D. Domingo Estevez?
He's not here.
Erwin Fernandez?
Yes to all.
Erwin Fernandez, yes to all. Luana Ferrara?
Yes to all.
Luana Ferrara, yes to all. Sonia Figueroa Pagan?
No to B, C, and D.
No to B, C, and D. John Francis?
And how do you
Not
vote on the
voting.
rest?
Oh, what for the rest?
The rest would be yes.
John Francis isn't here.
John Francis absent. Okay. Barbara Frazier?
Yes to all.
Barbara Frazier, yes to all. Jonathan Fermetta?
Stay on C and D, yes to the rest.
Abstain on C and D. Yes to the rest. Tanisha Grant?
Yes. Hi, Alexis. No to D and yes on the rest of them. Thank
No
you.
for D?
C, I
No
think.
for-
Hold on.
Wait, let me ask, because everybody's calling out that I can't hear. I'm sorry, can you repeat that, dear?
No to D and yes to the rest.
No to D and yes to the rest for Tanisha Grant. Heidi Guzman?
Yes to all.
Heidi Guzman, yes to all. Jody Herson?
Yes to all.
Jody Herson, yes to all. Marion James?
Not present.
Neil? Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no to D, yes to us.
No to D. Yes to the rest. Yosef Kalinsky?
No on D and number 4, yes to the rest.
Sorry, no on D and number 4, and yes to the rest. OC Kamina?
Abstain on D. Yes to the rest.
Abstain on D, yes, I'm sorry, abstain on D, yes to the rest. Let me finish my sentence, please, thank you. Alexis Marnell, yes to all. Tracy McNeil?
Yes to all.
Tracy McNeil, yes to all. Isidro Medina?
Abstaining on D, yes to the rest.
Abstaining on?
D.
Okay, abstain on D, yes to the rest. Carmen Polino?
Abstain on D, yes to the rest.
Carmen Polino, abstain on D, yes to the rest. Indiana Porta?
Don't Zoom.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry, I abstain on D and yes to the rest.
Indiana Porta, abstain on D, yes to the rest.
Thank you.
Liz Ritter?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Liz Ritter, yes to all.
My last name's actually Laura Ritter, so I should.
Oh.
I'm not finding that humorous right now.
Doing well, Alexis, keep it going.
I'm teasing. Bruce Robertson.
Yes to all. My name is really Ritter.
I know, I heard that.
We're all ready.
I heard that, Bruce. I'm glad you clarified. Steve Simon?
This wasn't something to be paid for. I would like to pay homage to Chris's use of the word penultimate, the classiest word tonight.
Sure.
So I vote yes on all.
Steve Simon, yes to all. Carl Edmund?
Yes to all.
Carl, yes to all. Anthony Viola?
No on D and yes to the rest.
Anthony Viola, no on D, yes to the rest. Chris Whitaker?
Yes to all.
Chris Whitaker, yes to all. Crystal Woodley?
Yes to all.
Crystal Woodley, yes to all. Thank you.
Excuse me,
Yes, Norma?
Keep going, Alexis, you can say.
That's it.
I just want to change, on D, I wanted to change my vote to no. My mistake, okay, I'm sorry.
Just a minute. Barbara is changing it to what? Can you repeat that again?
On D, vote no.
No to D and then yes to the rest? Thank you. Okay. Did I miss anybody?
Hector, are you back? Did you call Irwin?
Yeah.
Hector, going once, going twice. Thank you. Darley's not in the room. When she left.
Thank you.
All right, cool, thank you. Yes, two big announcements. These papers that we gave out, they're not meant to stay with us. Please give them back, check mark your vote, pass it back. You can leave it on the table if anything, and he can pick it up at the office. OC has it, what?
No.
Announcement, yeah, so committee chairs, you may announce before we have motions on the floor, because people are leaving. Yes, I did. Yeah, come on up, OC.
January 31st is the last day to file an extension for section 320 of local law 97. If your building didn't do that and need an extension, by that I mean reporting to the city for your section of the local law 97 for the reporting of the 2024 that need to be reported by May of this year. Do so before January 31st for extension.
How do people know their building didn't?
Department of Building can help you, your management, your board, somebody will be able to let you know.
Okay, any other announcements, committee chairs? I heard a motion, okay, there was a motion and it was adopted to adjourn and forth. Thank you folks for sticking around and for patience tonight. We'll see you same flight, same pace, same time next week. Lo voy a terminar. Oye, mira cómo no acostumbro a la gente.